This Ag News update brought to you by American Implement, indebted to the past, committed to the future. In a moment, Ag News.
Would you like to see something done about high gas prices and low unemployment? Western Plains Energy in Campus, Kansas is doing something about it. They're a proud part of Growth Energy, America's ethanol supporters, and they employ 38 people and will be adding more following the expansion. Ethanol fuel not only reduces the cost of regular gasoline, it's good for the environment and keeps money right here in the United States while supporting local rural jobs. Western Plains Energy, doing something for the future.
Day and night, till the job is done, Teeter is the one that works for you. Fields of green, reaching toward the sun, Teeter is the one that works for you. Teeter is the one, Teeter is the one that works for you. Teeter Irrigation, your source for water management.
Well, a report out says the BSE disease outbreak in the 90s will likely keep the European Union from easing its strict rules on food safety. That caution will likely continue, even though U.S. President Trump is threatening to slap tariffs on car imports from the EU if the countries don't start importing more U.S. farm products. European food and farming exports to the U.S. are worth $12 billion more than the imports the bloc brings in from the U.S. Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue told EU officials last month that they should adopt food regulations to reflect sound science. But the report says there's very little optimism that the EU will agree. Europeans remember the BSE outbreak and will not accept any lowering of its food standards. A trade specialist with the European Policy Center says no politician would support a trade deal that's perceived as dropping those stringent standards. Trump long complained the EU position on trade is worse than China. Well, a report issued by Broadband Now Research says the number of Americans that are without internet service is now 43 million. Well, that's double the estimate of 21.3 million from the Federal Communications Commission. The report also says the problem is worse than the FCC says it is in rural America. They say the discrepancy is occurring because the FCC relies on semi-annual self-reporting by internet service providers using the FCC mandated Form 477. So if an ISP offers service to at least one lone household in a census block, then the FCC counts the entire census block as covered by that provider, even if the rest of the block doesn't have service. Broadband Now Research says it's examining the magnitude of the flaw by manually checking internet availability using FCC data as the source of truth for randomly selected addresses. Broadband Now Research says it believes that provider reporting on address level availability is the best and most transparent way to understand and quantify the digital divide. More in a moment.
S&S Trailer Sales with 2 locations in Ness City, Kansas is where everybody goes to buy or rent trailers. They feature the all-new, all-aluminum Mauer grain trailer with all of the electric options, the easy-to-load detached trailers, and a huge stock of header trailers. At the west location, you'll find bumper poles, goosenecks, and oilfield specialty trailers, along with flat and utility beds for pickups. S&S Trailer Sales in Ness City and on the web, but remember, you do have to spell out the and.
The cost of everything has gone up dramatically over the last 75 years. With one exception: keeping electricity affordable.
Wheatland Electric, delivering energy for life, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Cattle producers who have not yet started the spring calving season still have a little time to plan ahead, and a K-State veterinarian notes that can make a big difference in having a successful year. A.J. Tarpoff, beef veterinarian with K-State Research and Extension, notes that producers need to make sure they have the necessary supplies on hand, and that may require buying or repairing some items and even their facilities. He also adds that sets in motion a plan to manage the birth of that new calf crop. Calving books, he says, are a phenomenal tool. It could be just a little notebook where you write down who calved, when they calved, and if there were difficulties, and whether or not it was a male or female coming out. Now, one of the newer management techniques that can lead to successful calving is to feed those cows at dusk. Tarpoff said there's been several research studies that show reliable results that a higher percentage of animals are born during daylight hours when to feed the cow in the late evening hours. This, he said, will help decrease midnight or early morning births, which are hard on workers and can also make those births more complicated if there are difficulties. Contact your local extension agent or visit ksubeef.org for more information. More after this break.
Wolfter Construction and Irrigation has been around a long time, and a lot of folks have trusted them to design, build, and service all sizes of commercial and on-farm storage for grain and equipment. Wolfter is also known for their outstanding irrigation division, where they stock a complete selection of nozzles, regulators, drops, gear drives, electrical, and structure components. Looking for an electric motor? Wolfter has a large selection in single and three-phase. Next time, reach out to the pros who have decades of experience at taking care of business the right way. Wolfter Construction and Irrigation. When you've had a best friend for over 50 years, you develop a trust. And the Scott Co-op has been a trusted rural friend since 1957. A co-op keeps money in the area, doing business for and with their members. And that helps keep their hometown thriving with keeping money in the community. Scott Co-op is not just an elevator. It's the rural way of doing business. So, when you see an elevator, remember your friends at Scott Co-op.
Well, join us for agriculture information and market updates. More 1030 KBUF. You can also be social with us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching.